was not going to live past a year. Thank you. He had 2 holes in his heart, no nose bone, and his brain was not developed. It was mush. I even asked if I could just be induced. No. They said there's nothing that they can do, that I had to have it.
And that is an excerpt from the ABC News documentary On the Brink that dropped on Hulu today, showcasing some of the painful, emotional decisions women are facing today. And the Supreme Court decision to hear cases challenging the abortion pill, mifepristone, could threaten and curtail abortion access for women in states where abortion is legal and protected. This just the latest in the legal quagmire of restrictions on abortion access that women across the U.S. are facing in many states. And as we know, for these expectant women, many of these cases were life or death. Let's bring back our panel, Mike, John, Heidi, and also joining us is our senior national policy reporter, Ann Flaherty. And I want to begin with you. I want you to just explain to us, give us some context here, how the Supreme Court is now going to weigh in on a drug that's been FDA approved now for over 20 years. This is a drug that's been proven to be safe and effective in terminating pregnancy up to 10 weeks gestation. So explain more. What are they doing here in terms of the Supreme Court?
Yeah, that's right. Important to know that we're talking about very early pregnancies with this drug, mifepristone, that has been on the market, as you say, for 20 years. Faith, this is the biggest abortion case to reach the Supreme Court since Roe fell 18 months ago, and it's going to land smack in the middle of an election year. What this is about isn't so much the right to choose an abortion. It's about accessibility. It's about whether or not this drug can be prescribed virtually through a telehealth appointment, mailed to somebody's home with very minimal supervision, basically because the FDA has said, we've had this on the market for 20 years. We know that it's safe. We know that we can adhere to these rules. But anti-abortion opponents say, look, we don't think this drug is safe and effective.
And John, 21 states right now have restrictive abortion bans. This is one of the most divisive political talking point we have right now. What do you say about decisions about women's health care being dictated by male lawmakers in conservative states?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very, very troubling thing. I saw that poor woman, what she had to go through in Dallas, in the Texas area recently, because she had a non-viable fetus and she wasn't able to have an abortion. And, no exceptions for life of the mother or rape or incest or anything. And so what the Supreme Court did a few years ago, they said, we're going to leave it up to the states. Now the question is what the states do completely unfettered? And that is the issue that's going to be decided here. And Lord knows what the Supreme Court's going to do.
And Heidi, we saw the impact on the midterm elections as far as abortion soon after the Supreme Court decision. How do you see this moving forward? How do you see this playing out in the 2024 campaign?
I think every day that another outrageous restriction on women's health care, whether they can get this prescription in the mail or whether they have a non-viable fetus, that's just another day that reminds voters and reminds especially suburban women who's on their side. And it's not the people who want to restrict their access to health care. I think the Republican Party would love this issue to go away into the background. It's not going to. It's going to be a voting issue. And as a voting issue, it's a voting issue that's going to help the Democratic Party because they are on the side of women.
And we continue to see more and more of these women come forward. They're talking about, their lives and how this is impacting them, life or death, pregnancy complications, pregnancies from sexual assault, among other things. And still a lot of them don't or do not have the right to choose at this point, depending on what state they're in. Is there a compromise anywhere in this abortion fight? Mike, this one is for you. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know if there's a compromise in relationship to political ideology in regards to this. I think that what's going to be really interesting regarding the Supreme Court decision that is going to be set to take place to be ruled in June, right in the middle of this election cycle and season, is what precedent is it going to set? In particular, because also, too, at the core of this is whether or not how the FDA is able to rule on the safety of prescription drugs in the pharmaceutical industry based upon scientific evidence and data in terms of what is safe for it to be approved. And so my concern going forward is something to really watch for is when political ideology comes into question with scientific study and data to determine when medication can go forward and interfering with ideology versus science.
And the FDA has said they got it right when they approved this more than 20 years ago. We'll see what the courts decide on this. Thank you to our panel.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.